hi, thank you for talking to me. I appreciate it. I enjoyed. They sent me 4 episodes. I'm still waiting for it to come on BritBox. I'm in the US.
Okay.
So.
Yes.
But so I've seen 4. I want to see the end, and I'm also losty. We'll talk about that at the end.
Okay.
Can't forget that. But so can you start by talking about what attracted you to the role in the Bay? I mean, was it the script? Was it the character? What was it kind of about that?
Well, I'd already seen series 1 and 2, and I'd really enjoyed the show. I worked with Dan Ryan a long time ago, and so I always loved to watch my friends in their things, and so I happened to be in the UK, and so I'd already watched it. And then they said they were looking for somebody new to come in, and they sent the script. So I had episode 1, and then they also sent a document, like a Jen Bible. It was all about Jen, where she's been, where she's at, where she's headed. And I really liked what they had to say. I played professional people before, and you often just see that side of their lives. Right. But what I really liked about getting the opportunity to play Jen is that she's at work and she's a badass, and even though she's not necessarily feeling her badassery at this when we find her, but she is a badass. And then we see her at home with all of the turbulence that's going on there. So we get to see a fully rounded person, that is what attracted me to it.
I get it. So when I first heard about this, I had never heard of a flow, and I don't know if it's because I'm in the United States or it's just not usually on there. But can you kind of talk about how that, I guess, makes this show a different detective series or murder series than the others?
Yeah, I also wasn't familiar with the flow, and I think that's one of the reasons the show is so popular, because I don't know of any other show that comes at it from the angle of the family liaison officer. And so what you're dealing with, I mean, we all love police dramas, but what we're dealing with is a cop who's very specifically tasked with working with the family who are going through this horror. It's generally a horror that they're going through. And so that's really interesting. And it's really cool to see how, because I couldn't do that job. I don't know how a flow invests in the family and is there for them emotionally and giving them everything they need, and then has to turn it off to go home. I don't know how. I personally couldn't do that.
No, I couldn't either.
No. And so that's really, I mean, it's heartbreaking what's going on. And so I think that's one of the reasons that people are so interested in the show and why it works, because it's different in that way.
And I was going to ask, I expected, I guess, her maybe not to get so involved. I mean, I know that's their job, but she gets emotionally invested too. Do you think that helps her or maybe hinders her a little bit?
I think it's both. I think it helps her be everything that the family needs. But I think then for her, when she closes her eyes at night, I don't think that she does a good job of shedding that and leaving it at the office. No, it's got to be very hard on her. And, flows have to see therapists regularly.
Right.
Because, of everything they're dealing with. So, yeah, I don't know that. I think it's both positive and negative for Jen. She's good at her job, but that makes it difficult in her own life.
So obviously this is still a murder mystery. Are you somebody who likes puzzles? Like, do you think that you'd make a good detective?
I was having dinner with a friend last night, and we were talking about a movie, and they said, "Oh my God, I saw it coming, and I always see it coming." I never see it coming, which is kind of like, is it because I'm thick? Like, I don't know. I'm able to kind of suspend my disbelief and just go along for the ride, unless something's really rubbish and they're going, wow, it's this person. I don't see it coming. However, I guessed with, I shot my first scene on my first day shooting this series, and it was with certain individuals, and I said, "It's you." It just all it was like, I don't know, a beautiful mind, like everything I'd read so far, it just all came to me. And in this instance, I actually did get it. I generally don't. I do love a mystery. I love an escape room, but would I make a great detective? I don't think so.
I think though that's a good thing too, because I think sometimes it ruins it a little bit when you can.
I agree. I mean, I want to be able to be along for the ride, like I said, and if I'm guessing straight away, then where's the fun in that?
I don't know. I'll be honest. I find British detective shows to be more, I don't know. I figure them out less often. Let's just say that.
Well, it's the accents.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. So, since you didn't know, what preparation other than getting the Bible for her did you kind of do for this?
Well, unfortunately, because of COVID, I wasn't able to hang out with a Flo, which would have been brilliant. So really, my research boiled down to watching seasons 1 and 2, reading up on the internet, and talking to Dan Ryan. He gave me some advice, and then the script. It's all pretty much there. Like, I had very few questions, truth be told, because it was all apparent. And so, yeah, it wasn't super methody, this situation, because the world didn't allow for it.
True. So what part of her, I mean, I guess you told me you'd have a hard time doing the job, but I guess of her like personality, is there a certain part that you found difficult to connect to other than that?
So there are a few scenes where she gets very defensive. Something bad has happened to her, and people at work are asking about her well-being, and she's very defensive. Oh, everybody knows. Oh, right. That is not who I am. That doesn't make sense to me. If people are asking after your well-being, you can just even if it gets to be grating, you can just very politely say, "I'm fine, thanks for asking." Like, I don't understand. I mean, she wears her heart on her sleeve, as do I to a degree. But I find I mean, I guess she's just very honest. But I didn't relate to that. Like, they're just asking how you are, love. Like, because they care.
Fair
I don't
enough.
understand that.
What part of her did you connect the easiest to, though? Do you find was the most like you?
Just her empathetic nature. The scenes with Miriam and the family. I really connected with that, just as a human, sat opposite another human who's going through the most unimaginable trauma. I connected with that side.
Okay. Do you have a favorite scene that you can tease without spoiling too much? Or at least you're allowed to tell me. I should say it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple. So there was one from the audition where, and this is just a favorite. I got 3 favorites. This one was just a favorite because it was a challenge where I'm up at the board, and because Dan Ryan does all of that, up at the board and talking to the room and everything. And in episode 1, I'm up at the board talking about the family doing the thing, and just getting that out the first time. I'm new, Jen's new, like, we're art imitating life. That was a challenge, and I felt really proud of myself to meet that challenge. So that was just a personal thing. I love a scene. Jen and Chris have a date night in episode 3, and that I really enjoyed that scene, bringing all of that to life. It felt really good, and bringing more than was even on the page to it. He and I get on really well, and that was really lovely to play. And then what was that? Oh, well, yeah, no, that's a spoiler. That's it. That's all I got for you.
That's fine. Now, this is already completely aired other places, right? That's my understanding.
Yes.
Okay. Are you, because I don't know, but is there another season coming? Like, are you prepping for that, or?
Yeah, we start shooting in June.
Okay, good. Well, that's good to know ahead.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if I could switch gears, I did want to ask you a little bit about Lost, because
Yeah.
I was very, very into Lost when it was out. We had a podcast and everything. Yeah, actually, we're doing a Lost trivia, which is part of my question. I got invited to a Lost trivia this weekend. What's it like being on a show like that still is so relevant and so talked about? And do you still get kind of approached about it?
It's still relevant and talked about?
Well, it is between us. Maybe it's just because we like the show so much. We still compare things to it.
Right. Listen, I mean, I loved Lost. I was a fan of Lost before I joined in season 3, and I was a fan, from episode 1. I watched it. I was on a plane headed from LA to England, and they played the pilot of Lost.
Oh, geez, that is not good for a plane.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it, actually. But anyway, it's funny because, I'll be talking to, I don't know, young people, and I say, this show Lost, and they don't know what I'm talking about. So it's just so interesting that you say it's still relevant. I mean, it's just to those of us that know, I guess it is.
Yeah.
It's super cool, isn't it? It's an honor to have been part of that.
Oh.
I mean,
yeah, it's so far away. No, I was just going to say, you made me think of, I had talked to Harold Perrineau's daughter for a different role, and I'm like, you know, have you watched it? How do you feel about that? Because it's been so long. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, but I guess it has been.
Yeah, I mean, it finished in 2010, didn't it?
Something like that. It's quite a while.
Yeah.
So do you have like one memory that sort of sticks out from the show? If you think
I've talked about this before, but it was just so you know, when I land on the island, I spent a few days shooting with Dom and Daniel and Jorge, and was it the three of them? Maybe Desmond. Anyway, and so I hadn't been to the beach yet. So I shot for a little while before I got to the beach, and then I go to the beach to shoot, and I'm in a tent, and Saeed comes to interrogate me because he doesn't trust me, and you know, Naveen, and I'm in the middle of a take, and I just had this moment of, oh my god, it's Saeed, and I'm almost. But somehow I managed to like keep it together and got to the end of the take. But like, yeah, it was surreal. It was the biggest show at the time, and I'd been watching it for 2 years. Everybody was so welcoming and so gorgeous. I mean, that's one of the lovely things about it. Like, it really was, even though it was such a big show.
Yeah.
And I was nervous to join. Once I got there, the nerves just left because everybody was so very welcoming. They were a lovely, lovely cast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a great experience.
Being in Hawaii can't hurt either.
Being in Hawaii does not hurt. It never hurts. I just got to go back and do a few episodes of Magnum, and I love Hawaii.
Yeah, I've never been. Would like to sometime.
Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah.
So, do you have any other projects coming out that you want to promote?
Well, it's all about the Bay right now. Cobra is another series I'm on back in the UK. That's on Sky. I don't know. Oh, when it airs on PBS in the US. Okay. And so I'll be going back to shoot the Bay and then Cobra back to back. And then that takes me to the end of the year, and who knows what 2023 will bring.
All right. I was just going to ask you, what's is there something in particular though that you look for when you take a role or don't take a role?
The truth of the matter is that there are very few actors who get the pick of the pile. I do not get the pick of the pile. So of the ones that I get the pick of, I just look to see if if there's integrity, if there's something there I can bring to the table. I mean, that's the truth of the matter. I always kind of chuckle when I'm asked that question because only Jennifer Aniston gets to pick the pile. You know what I mean? And those, so that's not really.
Well, you make me wonder then, is there any that you didn't take that you kind of regretted after the fact?
No.
Right.
No. I recognize a good opportunity when I see it.
That's good to know. So what's kind of like your ultimate dream role if you could choose any role?
God, I hate that question. No offense, because I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I just know it when I see it. I don't know.
That's fine. Do you have somebody you want to work with?
I just want to work with good directors, good actors, good people. Good people. Life's too short. Too many idiots out there. And I just want to work with good people and have it be fun.
All right, I'm gonna check. Yeah, I guess I've been about 15 minutes. So, all right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to finding out what the heck happens. So, it airs. That's the one bad thing with screeners, so I got to wait even longer a lot of times.
I know. Well, the good news is it starts in 5 days. It all drops.
Not too long.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.